welcome to the Meet Mediocrity Podcast Season 4, Episode 2. So this Episode 2 is about finding a job. And finding a job can mean a lot of things. It can mean finding a job immediately out of high school or college. It could mean finding a job when your current job is not working for you. It could mean finding a job when you've just gotten fired. What I want to start is by referencing a video I did. I did a vlog that talked about being in control of your career, and I said, look, you are always in charge of your career, not your employer, not your boss, you. And I use the term stay and be happy or leave and be happy, which I did not coin that phrase. I had a colleague many years ago who said it to me, and I still use it to this day. But even if you are miserable in your job, and even if you need that job or you need a job to pay the rent and your bills, which most of us do, you don't have to stay in a bad job. You can make your current job better, or you can leave and find another job, either in your organization, and if that's not available, then elsewhere. My most famous in my life job search was when I graduated from my undergraduate school, George Washington University, with an English literature degree. And everyone in my family, all of my friends, and yours truly, had no clue what I was going to do with an English literature degree. I started my job search by going to career services at college, and they said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to work with people. I want to be a manager. They're like, well, great. Well, coming out of college, you don't usually become a manager, but a lot of companies have what we call management training programs. Maybe you should apply for those. And so what I went and did is I looked up, I think, every company in the Fortune 500 that I'd heard of, and sent letter after letter after letter. If I sent out 100 letters, which is probably about what I sent out, I got about 30 to 40 of them I never heard from. And the remainder of them sent me this pretty much the same letter, which said, thank you for your resume. Unfortunately, we do not have a spot for you in our management training program. I kept that file of rejection letters for many, many years as a reminder to myself of where I started. I remember looking back at that file and saying, gee, who would have thought that someone who could get a file full of 60, 70 rejection letters could actually, advance in their career like I have. So lesson number 1 about my first job search is A, cast a wide net. B, grow some calluses when it comes to rejection. You're going to get a lot of rejection. And I think C is perseverance. Like, don't give up. I soon was able to land a job at a large professional services firm doing taxes, and I loved it. Loved it. As it happens, life got in the way. I was married. I had a young child at home. I had a second child on the way, and I needed more money because life was becoming expensive. And so what I did during the first 5.5 years of my job is I got a lot of calls from headhunters. I had conversations, but I never took an interview. I never was interested in leaving. But now I realized I needed to leave. So I called this headhunter. I don't remember his name, but I do remember him. And I said, I'm ready to interview. And sure enough, he got me interviews at 3 different firms. I got 2 out of 3 offers. The firm that I preferred of the 2 offered me less money. So I went to my current employer and I said, I got a job offer, and this is how much money it's worth, and this is how much of a sign-on bonus it's worth. I'd really prefer staying. Can you give me something similar in terms of a compensation package? And my employer said, Mitchell, we really love you. We think you do a great job, but we're not changing our compensation model just for you. And we'd love you to stay, but if you don't want to stay, leave. Stay and be happy, leave and be happy. Although they didn't use those words at the time. So I went to the company that I preferred working at, but had offered me less money. And I said, I'd really like to work here, but your competitor has offered me more money. can you match that? They did. And I left. I went to this other company for a pay raise, and there was a learning. There's a learning there. The learning is this recruiter was calling me all the time, wanted me to leave on his terms. I used him to help me leave on my terms. Secondly, I cast a little bit of a wide net. I got a couple of offers. I was able to play one against the other. And I was able to use the two offers I got to actually leverage the higher offer to the more preferable job. So a lot of learnings there as well. The next thing I learned is the employer I went to, I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't my vibe. I stuck it out for 3 years. In fact, during those 3 years, I interviewed at other jobs. They didn't work out for one reason or another. And one day, I had learning number 3. 3 years into my new job, I had lunch with my old boss. And she said, "Want to come back?" So I did go back. But the lessons are even more poignant to me because I didn't burn bridges. She said, "Come back. You didn't burn any bridges. You left like a gentleman. You said it was about money. You said you liked the people. You said you liked our culture. You said you liked our organization." Secondly, I kept in touch. You know, every contact you make, don't burn bridges. Keep those contacts. You never know when they're going to pay off. I also learned a quality lesson. I learned, that money isn't everything. But I also learned that the experience, being able to go to work every day with people that you liked, really has an impact on your overall wellness and your overall prognosis for success. I did have one other story I wanted to tell, and this one was a bit of a gutsy move on my part, but I did it, and it was really about creating leverage. Make yourself be in demand, and this is how I did it. I was up for a very big promotion. I went back, I loved my job, I was happy, the pay was great, and I was up for a big promotion, and it wasn't clear whether or not I was going to get that promotion. And remember that recruiter who got me the job earlier? I called that same recruiter and I said, "I'm up for a big promotion. I'm not sure I'm gonna get it. I think I'd like to consider whether some of our competitors might hire me into that promoted role." The competition for this promotion was fierce, and I wanted to get an edge. I wanted to get some leverage. I ended up getting an interview at a competitor, one that I had never interviewed with. This person said to me, "We will consider bringing you in at that promoted level." So I went back to work that afternoon and I called my boss and I said, "I have a dilemma. One of our competitors called me and they're considering offering me a promoted role similar to the one that I'm up for." And my boss said to me, "Let me make some phone calls." And he called me back after, actually it was the next morning, and he said, "Hey Mitch, where would you rather be promoted, here or there?" And I said, "Here. I want to stay here." And my boss said to me, "Then don't go on that interview." And I said, "Does that mean I'm getting promoted?" And he said, "I can't make any promises because we're not at promotion time of year yet, but I wouldn't be telling you not to go on that promotion if I didn't have a lot of confidence that you shouldn't go on that promotion." So not a direct answer, but it was good enough for me. I did stay, I did get promoted, and there was a lesson there. Have some confidence and create some leverage for yourself. But remember, you need to know what you're going to do based upon what happens. I knew I was going to stay. I really wanted to stay. In fact, I would have stayed even if I didn't get promoted, but I used this experience. I wasn't a jerk. I just wanted to get a little more leverage, a little more of an edge to get that promotion. I did get that promotion, but even if I didn't get that promotion, I would have stayed because I didn't want to be a jerk about it. I didn't want to say, this or else. I just said, "I've got this opportunity and I'm not sure what I should do and I need your advice." And he gave me the advice, which I took, and it worked out. Things don't always work out. everything I told you, all the stories I just told you, they kind of worked out because they're just steps in a journey. Everything has a next step. If you could take your experiences and no matter what happens, make lemonade out of them, then you'll have a long, successful career. A couple things I would also add to the list of learnings that I just threw out at you as we get to the end of this episode. First of all, it's always good to cast a wide net because you may never know where the best opportunity will come from. Secondly, it's always good to have irons in the fire when you're not looking. Always have those contacts. Keep in touch with people. Keep in touch with friends and competitors. Keep in touch with people in fields that you're interested in, because you never know where they're going to help you find a job. Third, when you're unemployed, looking for a job can be a full-time job, and you should treat it as such. People who lob resumes out and say, "Oh, I didn't get a job," like there's always something you can do. I definitely want to mention, because it's something that is going to come up again and again in this season 4 of the Meet Mediocrity podcast, and it has to do with doing your homework. When you're going on interviews, learn everything you can about the company you're interviewing for. What have they done well? What are their products? What are they known for? Do they have some failures, big lawsuits? Secondly, if you know who you're meeting with, if you know who's interviewing you, know those people. Know them very, very well. At a bare minimum, you need to Google them. At a bare minimum, you need to read their LinkedIn profile so that you can determine whether or not you're a good match for them, both personally and professionally. So stalk your interviewees. Practice. That's the other thing. Practice your interviews. Mock interviews are a great idea. Find a friend, find a colleague. If you have a coach, I do a lot of coaching, ask them to do a mock interview with you. And know what you want. Know what you want your end result to be. Know what you're going to do when they offer you the job. Know what you're going to say when they offer you a job at a level that you may not have expected. Here's the last thing. After every interview, remember to follow up. Send a thank you note. Follow up if you haven't heard in a couple of weeks. If they say it's going slow, wait a few more weeks, but follow up. Be prepared for rejection. You're going to get rejected far more than you're going to get accepted in life. That's just the way it works. Learn from every experience. Collect experiences and learn from them. And repeat. That's the way it works. And until next time, continue to be happy. Keep smiling. Stay well. Stay healthy. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.